We've got a good one in Philadelphia this week as the Seattle Seahawks come to town to face the Eagles. Philadelphia, a slim 1-point favorite on BETDAQ, 48 the total in this game. Now Philly sits at 9-3, they lead the NFC East. Seattle at 8-4, they're just a game back in the NFC West, but division-leading Arizona is falling fast now that they're without starting quarterback Carson Palmer. So both of these teams well positioned as we approach the playoffs. This should be a good competitive game. The Seahawks have been a popular public bet out in Las Vegas this week. General consensus seems to be that they have it together now. They've won 5 of their past 6 games. They responded to a road loss in Kansas City 3 weeks ago with consecutive blowout wins over division rivals Arizona and San Francisco. So people very high on the Seahawks right now. And even though the Eagles have been playing really well also, I think there's still some uncertainty there because of their quarterback, Mark Sanchez. Now, I know Sanchez has looked great in this Chip Kelly offense, but we've seen years of Mark Sanchez as quarterback of the New York Jets, and he was mostly awful. Now, he did lead the Jets to an AFC Championship game, back-to-back AFC Championship games, as a matter of fact. But Sanchez's tenure in New York ended poorly, and that is certainly an understatement. The guy really was a walking turnover for his last 3 years in New York. So not many people eager to get behind Mark Sanchez against a Seattle defense that ranks number 1 in the NFL in yards allowed and 3rd in points allowed. I think that game against Green Bay, when Philadelphia was blown out in Green Bay 3 weeks ago, I think that still lingers in some people's minds. People not fully bought in on the Eagles yet, maybe. And I hear you. I'm not fully sold on Mark Sanchez quite yet either. Have to see it a few more weeks myself before I can really label Philadelphia a legitimate Super Bowl contender. However, I have a feeling they're going to beat Seattle this week. You know, the Seahawks, we know, not quite as good on the road as they are at home. We mentioned just 3 weeks ago they went on the road and lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. They've also lost to the St. Louis Rams on the road this season. And the Eagles, you look at their defense, they're pretty good against the run. 11th against the run this year. Yes, they do have problems in the secondary, but the Seahawks, a run-first offense, first in the NFL in rush yards per game, but 29th in pass yards per game. I know Russell Wilson can do it. He's just not asked to do it very often. The Seahawks like to run the ball, play it close to the vest. And I think that plays into Philadelphia's hands a little bit here. And if Seattle gets out of their comfort zone and decides to spread it out and throw it down the field with Russell Wilson, that might play into the Eagles' hands as well. I'm sure they wouldn't mind getting into a little bit of a shootout here. Philly does have the better offense. The Eagles 4th in the NFL in points scored, also 4th in total offense, meaning yards per game. So look, I think this is going to be a competitive game. There's a reason the number is near pick here. Philly just a 1-point favorite, as we said. But I have a lean in the Eagles' direction. Something tells me they're going to be able to pull out a home win over the Seattle Seahawks. Now, if this game were in the middle of January in Seattle, I would most definitely be leaning in the other direction. But as of now, week 14 of the regular season, I like the Eagles' chances of picking up a win here. Philly -1, my recommendation. I also lean towards under 48.